guys, welcome to the Homestead. So today we're going to talk about copper and silver, some of the metals markets. There's a video I saw recently and I was like, some people, it was funny because I watched it on Twitter and people were like, what is this guy saying? I have to watch this like 4 or 5 times to understand what he's saying. And he's absolutely right. I've watched this guy from time to time on YouTube and on some of his videos that get spread around. I've never subscribed to him over at TikTok. I don't have TikTok, but I've seen a lot of his videos shared on other social media platforms that I am on. And he's absolutely correct, 100%. Here's the clip.
You're going to be able to buy this kilogram of gold with a couple of $1,000s to spare from a penny. Which one of these items do you think is worth more? The kilogram of gold or the penny that I'm holding between my 2 fingers? So a kilogram of gold is $43,000 on the market today. The penny is worth 1 cent, or so you might think, because that's the denomination, but it's also made out of something. Pennies are notorious for being made out of copper. What's the value of copper? Copper is valued per pound. The scrap price of copper right now is $2.45 per pound. That's 245 of these pennies. 245 pennies, or $2.45, will be 1.68 pounds of copper. The process goes from $2.45 pennies, all right, $2.45. That's 245 pennies. You scrap those, you're going to get $4.12. You make that into 412 pennies. You scrap that, you're going to get $6.92. You scrap that, you're going to be $11.62. You repeat that process about 16 times, you're going to be able to buy this kilogram of gold with a couple of $1,000s to spare from a penny.
Now, if you don't know what he's talking about copper pennies. If you take that, the real copper pennies, like made before 1982, you know, the ones in circulation today he's not talking about. But the real copper pennies, which are mostly copper, you could take those just based on their weight value, melt them down, and you could make money that way because the melt value, is worth way more than their actual face value. And if you did this enough times, you would be able to buy that kilogram of gold, the 1 kilo of pure gold, and have money left over. Actually, I'm here to tell you, it's better than that. Way better than that. So a number of years ago, I discovered this, and I've tried telling people this, and people are like, Zach, I don't know what you're talking about. You're actually out of your mind. You're crazy, Zach. It's actually worse than this, or better than this, however you want to look at it. Worse if you're looking at it from a financial standpoint, but better if you're looking at it from an opportunity standpoint, which is what this guy is doing. It's better than that because if you take just regular copper, because a copper penny is not pure copper. There's actually a little bit of, even the 1982 ones and before, there's a little bit of extra alloys in there. But if you go out and you try to find scrap copper, like number 1 copper, like wiring and things like that, you know, all kinds of different things out there you can find this from. And you melt that down, the going rate right now for 1 pound of copper on Etsy is $30 a pound. $30 a pound. So that means you have to redo this guy's entire equation, and it works out way better in your favor. And the reason for this, Zach, why is that possible? How is that? How is this possible? It's because copper and silver have always been money. Right now, the talk of the news cycle is how gold is at all-time highs. And I believe that they're probably trashing the stock market right now in order to keep this gold from getting out of control. Because the Shanghai Gold Exchange and other exchanges overseas right now are pricing gold much higher because that's its true value. It's been suppressed for many, many years, probably for the last 120 years. And so now it's coming back to its true value. And so maybe the stock market crash is a way to try to keep that from getting out of control, even though it's not going to do much. But the reality is this silver and copper have also been heavily manipulated. And if you take that number 1 copper and you melt it down into bars, now you're talking about copper's true value. Because right now you go to a scrap yard and they'll give you about $2 to $3 if you're lucky per pound of that scrap. But if you go to Home Depot and you buy a roll of copper wire, oh dear Lord, you're paying way more than that scrap price for that brand new copper. If you go buy copper fittings, pure copper fittings, you're paying way more than that scrap copper price that you're getting at the scrap yard. If you go to Etsy and you see the prices of just a regular copper bar, 1 pound. It's around $30 per pound. That, my friends, is the true price of copper. And the scrapyard price is based on the COMEX price, which is heavily manipulated. It's been so manipulated, it's not even funny. And it's been that way for years. Why is copper and silver heavily manipulated? We'll talk about silver here in a second. It's because copper and silver have always been a monetary competition. Right now, we have this fiat paper dollars that we call money today, and silver and copper have a 5,000-year history of being money instead. And so what we do is we try to put you into this matrix of thinking that copper and silver, it's just a commodity. It's not money. In fact, you don't even need this anymore. Look how low it's priced. It's not worth that. And so you have this idea of what real money is and what real money is not. And so they perpetuate this, but they can only do it for so long. And right now we're at the end of that tether. And I've been telling you this for years on my channel. This is going to come to an end. Silver is highly manipulated. The silver that they have out there is not what's out there. It's all derivatives. For every 1 ounce of silver, conservative estimates are there are 500 ounces of silver for every 1 physical. So every paper, there's 500 paper ounces of silver traded on the market for every 1 ounce of actual physical silver that exists. Now that's conservative. I really believe it's much more than that. And so do a lot of other people. So let's just go down this road for a second. We have silver that is heavily manipulated. It's a competitor to the US dollar, and that's why it's manipulated. And now we have a gold to silver ratio of now 100 to 1. If you do your research and you go back throughout history, that gold to silver ratio for thousands of years has been 1 to 15, 1 to 10, sometimes as low as 1 to 5. And it's 1 to 100 right now, meaning that it takes 100 ounces of silver to equate to 1 ounce of gold right now. But that is going to correct. And when it corrects, and it will, it's going to be extremely painful. But it's also going to be extremely spectacular. And I'm not saying in a good way, in a bad way. It's going to be painful for a lot of people. It's going to be, because most people don't have this stuff. They traded this in a long time ago. My grandma used to have this giant silver set of silverware, and we took that to the pawn shop years ago. It's long gone. Been melted down and put into a solar panel probably somewhere. But people don't have any of this stuff. This is why I tell people this has been a Ponzi scheme, a game that the Federal Reserve has been playing for 120 years, and it's finally going to come to an end. And the clock started really ticking back in the 1970s when we got off the gold standard. And so it's only going to be a matter of time, and we're there. We are there. And that's why you're seeing a lot of this stuff happening, and it's only going to get worse. If I was going to advise you, and I'm not your financial advisor, this is not financial advice. If I was going to advise you, I would go out and buy some silver. You can buy some silver. I've recommended different companies online before in the past, and they're all great companies. Okay, they're all great companies, and I still have banner ads on my website, but I'm getting away from that right now, and I kind of went into that why over at my Patreon page, so you can watch that video on that. But the reality is you can go out and buy a bunch of silver from like places like SD Bullion or APMEX. Most of us don't have a lot of money to move, millions into this stuff. We are normal people. So, but if you just go out and you buy some silver from like APMEX or SD Bullion or some of these other places online, and you have that for your rainy day, end of the world, apocalypse is here fund, then you're going to do very, very well. Okay. Historically, this is going to correct, and you're going to do very, very well. All right, there's my spiel on that. This is a complete and total mess. And the guy with the copper penny, he's 100% absolutely right. But he doesn't understand how right really he is. He's so right, he's actually kind of wrong, because it's actually worse than what he's saying. Again, the going rate for a copper bar, average, because there's lower and higher. The average going rate for a copper bar on Etsy right now is $30 a pound. $30 a pound. I just find that amazing. Meanwhile, you can turn in a pound of copper at your local scrapyard and get $2.50 for it. You tell me in the comments below what you think the real price is. The price they're paying you, or the price you're paying them for that metal. You leave a comment below, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. You're either living in the dream world or you're awake, Neo. Okay? One of the two is happening. All right, perfectpickler.com. One of the other things I highly recommend getting into is learning how to grow your own probiotics. Most of the probiotics that you find online or you find, at the grocery store are not real. The ones you buy at the store in the little pill bottles are not real. They don't give you near the probiotics that growing your own probiotics at home is. The little kombucha bottles and the little yogurt bottles you buy at the store, most of the time does not have the probiotics that they have advertised on the label. Here's a clip.
I had killed my bifidobacteria and I was drinking a liter of kefir every day. And I couldn't find bifidobacteria in my gut from that liter of kefir. So I tested the kefir in my fridge and basically noticed there was no bifidobacteria, even though it said on the label, bifidobacteria. So I was curious because here I am telling all my patients to drink kefir. Of course, it's not going to improve, their microbiome if mine didn't even improve. So I went to my grocery store in Malibu and picked up a whole bunch of yogurts and a whole bunch of drinks that said bifidobacteria in them. And then out of the drinks, out of the 26 drinks, only 3 of them had bifidobacteria. And it was shocking because here I am telling patients, well, go get kefir and improve, go pick up a drink that has bifidobacteria. It was shocking to find out that actually so many drinks didn't have bifidobacteria. It was also shocking to find out that out of the drinks that didn't have bifidobacteria, not only did the drinks not have bifidobacteria, but even the probiotics that say bifidobacteria didn't have bifidobacteria in there. 16 out of 17 probiotics on the market have 0 bifidobacteria. It's just a gimmick. They don't put bifidobacteria in there. So consumer beware, because that's the problem. You are thinking you're taking on some probiotics or some drinks that is improving your gut, and it's not necessarily improving your gut.
The only way you get real, true probiotics is to grow it yourself at home. It's very easy to do. People have been doing this also for thousands of years. It's not that hard to do. And there's all kinds of recipes online for free on our website, perfectpickler.com. This the value package kit comes with its own recipe booklet with a whole bunch, like 14 different recipes in here that you can get. But we have even more recipes for free at the website, perfectpickler.com. What I want you to do, please do this. Even if you have a kit, if you've been making your own pickled things, sauerkrauts, things like that, kimchis, and you want to share the idea of just growing some, even if you don't have our kit, you can share our website, perfectpickler.com, online, on Facebook, on Twitter, and you can send people to get the free recipes. You don't even need our kit to make the recipes. You can make these right from home and get all these fruit chutney. We have a bunch of chutney, pickled chutney recipes online. All kinds of great stuff. It's all free. So go to perfectpickler.com. If you don't have a kit, consider getting a kit. Get a kit for a friend or maybe get a recipe book. But check out our recipes online. There's a recipes tab right there at the top where you can learn all kinds of new recipes for free. And then share the link with your friends on social media to get them doing it as well. Probiotics during these future days are going to be such a huge game changer for a lot of people who are doing it. If you're not doing probiotics, if you're not promoting good gut health in your body, your immune system is going to suffer. And the biggest killer all throughout history has not been wars or famine. The biggest killer has been disease. And the way disease takes hold in you is a weakened immune system. And the best way to strengthen your immune system is good gut health. That's why those recipes are there for free. I'm not going to charge you for any of that. perfectpickler.com. Go check it out today. Share the link. I really appreciate it. See you next time in the Homestead. Bye. Have you ever gone to a health food store and seen all those small bottles of probiotics in your cooler section? Man, can they be pricey. Are you really getting all you need to improve your gut health from those expensive bottles? How viable are they? Most of those products claim to give you between 8 and 15 strains of gut-healthy healing bacteria. Think of each strain of bacteria as a different factory in your gut. Each factory is responsible for breaking down that food in its own way. The more factories you have, the more the food is broken down and the easier the food is absorbed and digested by the body. A 2018 study published by the National Library of Medicine shows that one fermented head of cabbage can produce up to 114 strains of beneficial bacteria. That's a lot more food factories than you're getting from that expensive pill bottle. And that's just cabbage. Imagine the probiotics when you add garlic, onions, pepper, and more to that ferment. PerfectPickler.com and its home fermentation kits provide you with everything you need to get started making your own gut-healthy food factories from the comfort of your own kitchen. PerfectPickler.com even provides a jam-packed recipe book with many of our kits. Visit PerfectPickler.com and start fermenting your own veggies to begin your journey to better gut health. That's PerfectPickler.com.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.